seating position reminds me of a pickup truck. The backrest is upright, there's quite a bit of cargo in the rear, and the tail itself is very long. Feels like I scraped something. No, it just seemed that way. The top speed according to the specs is 145 kilometers per hour. Well, obviously I won't be reaching that. 120 is just right. And the car is very stable on the road. After all, the suspension here isn't much different from a modern one essentially. Alright. Not the best quality. This is a real Moskvich for the soul, and if you want to save some money, say, on buying a new car or getting a new service inspection, autospot.ru as always. For example, scheduled maintenance. You can save up to 5 or sometimes even 10,000 rubles. You definitely need to visit the autospot.ru website because all the offers here are only from official dealers. And the list of cities is constantly growing. New sections regularly appear on the site, the latest one for example. These are used cars that have been checked by experts with detailed reports and photos. And all of this is in one place, with a convenient interface. And most importantly, the site is absolutely free. I've left a link in the description, autospot.ru. It's better to drive badly than to walk well. That saying definitely doesn't apply to the passengers of this car. These cars are interesting no matter how you look at them. And once again, the 90s. A revolutionary time, a time that destroyed everything that could possibly be destroyed, and what couldn't be destroyed was worn down beyond recognition. On the other hand, it was a time of change and attempts to survive. Automotive giants were losing the battle to imported foreign cars, including used ones. They were losing, but they didn't give up, trying to saturate the market with the necessary modifications. A similar story happened at the Lenin Komsomol plant, Moskvich. By that time, the main and only bearer of the socialist automotive style at the plant was the AZLK-2901. The history of this vehicle began in 1976, when the country's party leadership shifted its focus toward front-wheel drive. They were developing the novelty of the decade, and in 1986, the first 41s rolled off the assembly line. But by the mid-90s, they had become somewhat outdated. The Supreme Commander-in-Chief of AZLK, a prominent strategist, economist, and Deputy Minister of Industry of Armenia. Today, a professor at Bauman University and a marketing genius, he found a very elegant way to create a new car. The recipe was simple. Cut it up, stretch it, weld it, and wherever something sticks out, just patch it up. That's how the Moskvich 2901 appeared. Do you think I'm joking? No, this is pure truth. The bodies were simply cut apart, and inserts from other bodies were welded in. This Moskvich was built using the same method. The only thing that surprises me is that the roof on top is metal. This whole huge cap is made of metal. Because of it, the height of the 41st increased by 46 centimeters. I honestly have no idea what was going through the mind of that gloomy genius when he issued the formal order to stretch the car and add an extra insert. See? From above it's perfect. The roof starts to rise from the windshield. Here, the arch shifted exactly by the width of the doors. I'll say right away there were only 2 of these bodies. One actually existed as a car and was used while the other was dying. They were lucky, KB. Smirnova saved these unique specimens and brought to life her project, which didn't just come out of nowhere. This is the Black Dolphin project. It was specifically developed and prepared for a special sequence of commemorative ceremonial events held in honor of the 135th anniversary of Russia's penal system. A vehicle for transporting especially dangerous individuals. Criminals sentenced to life imprisonment. They're right here. The passengers. Yeah, the rear door is welded shut. The top section is from a hatchback while the bottom half is from a pickup. The taillights are from a UAZ. Excuse me, sir, I am actually standing right over here. The crew consists of 3 different people. Each one of them has their own key. Well, that's just in case one of them doesn't happen to have it. Yeah. Make a deal. Well, hello. And there's nothing here. Nothing but a throne. Yeah, it's really better to be a law-abiding citizen than a passenger in this coffin. Due to the increased weight and rear end, the factory had to tinker with the suspension. The axle remained the same from the pickup, but instead of springs they installed leaf springs from a Moskvich 40. That's where the factory engineer's imagination ended. They left the brakes as drum brakes. Thankfully, they didn't touch anything up front, and honestly, they couldn't have anyway. McPherson strut, and underneath there's just one control arm, or more precisely, half of one. The other half is the anti-roll bar. A similar setup was used on Audi. Even today, this suspension is quite modern. You can clearly see the car predates the arrival of the knees by its front end, featuring fully traditional and distinct headlights, hood, bumper, and grille. In fact, a number of significant changes were made to the engine. It was the engineers, not the managers, who had a hand in it. Here, the crankshaft valves and manifold are different. Well, anyway. The engine. It dates back to 1966, and it's not mounted transversely, but longitudinally, with its full-grown body and a weight of 114 kilograms. The UFA carbureted engine USAM 3317, with a displacement of 1.7 liters. And a power output of 85 horsepower at 5,300 revolutions per minute. Torque is 130 Newton meters at 3,200 revolutions per minute. Piston stroke is 74.9 millimeters. Compression ratio is 8.5, cylinder diameter is 85 millimeters. I'll take a seat where the staff would sit in the cabin. And what can I say right away? Just look at this ceiling height, look at this legroom. And the idea of creating such vehicles was the right one. For example, for ambulances that were produced in Ukraine, for public utilities, yes, it was probably needed. The idea of creating a similar machine was also the right one. So what do you think? Does the Black Dolphin project fit the topic? The paint job alone immediately sets a serious tone. The vehicle is also equipped with a loudspeaker system, a radio station, a light and sound panel on the roof, as well as mounts for service automatic weapons. What was stopping the factory from making it this neat right from the start? Everything seems so gray and dull, but then there's this white trim, and suddenly it feels a bit more cheerful. A pistol, a submachine gun, a Kedder, and you can live more peacefully. With the radio, the whole world can hear you. Otherwise, a stylish interior concept is ruined by mediocre build quality. Everything looked tired straight off the assembly line, and no matter how hard craftsmen like KB Smirnov tried, it just won't turn out perfect. Honestly, it's uncomfortable to sit here, to put it mildly. I feel like a dissected frog. My legs are folded and my arms are like a gopher's. I just want to push the seat back further, but you need to understand the most important thing. Essentially, this is a concept car. Nothing more than that, to use modern terminology. The only thing is, when turning, you have to remember that the car is over 5 meters long. That's more than a meter longer than the base 2140. But it doesn't affect the handling at all. The steering rack knows its job. Again, a longer wheelbase is more stable on straightaways and sways less. It has leaf springs. I speak the truth to you. And here, they're even loaded, which is a blessing. An incredible feeling comes over me, and this vessel carries me to the island of Buyan. Well, what other thoughts could you possibly have behind the wheel of this car? The car is fantastic, and it's real, though admittedly from an alternative parallel history of AZLK. From a world where the Lenin Komsomol automobile plant is thriving, not declining. Before the vulgar Moskvich show with clowns instead of real management. And then the corpse was sold for parts, where all the workshops are still running and the imported equipment hasn't been scattered among locals and cronies to enrich the clan. Where people work for the good of their own country. I emphasize their own country, not just the one listed in their passport. Our factories fell not because they couldn't evolve, but because they were betrayed from within. And I repeat once again, your names, citizens, are known, and there are organizations that are keeping an eye on you. After the final verdict is delivered, there are even vehicles waiting and ready to take you away. Let's continue. To prove it, here is the document, a request from the Russian Ministry of Justice to build a prototype, which means building this very Moskvich.